The Epic Game Store offers devs a handful of opt-in community features like reviews, achievements, and a support ticket system. But an in-store forum will not be one of them. Forums are one of the features that the rival storefront Steam currently offers to devs on that platform. So the decision is another notable difference between the two PC game stores. Players replying to Epic CEO Tim Sweeney's tweets on the subject are torn about the decision. But for devs, the local forums on the Epic Store makes a one less platform to moderate and means they can live with and promote their existing communities if they choose to host their games to the Epic Game Store. Sweeney discussed that decision and others in a handful of tweets about the Epic Games Store this week. Many of the things he discussed have already been mentioned on the storefront Trello roadmap, like mod support and others. But he also had a few interesting things to say about what features are not being planned for the platform. Namely, Sweeney says Epic does not have plans to build install game forums into the Epic Game Store at this point. Instead, he says the company encourages devs to have a link to external forums on sites like Reddit on the store listing for their game. It's something Epic practices itself with Fortnite's own FortniteBR subreddit, and Sweeney notes that they encourage forums that are independent of stores and platforms. In another notable departure from Steam, Sweeney also says that there are no plans to develop a trading metagame like Steam trading cards, though many other features players have come to expect of digital platforms like gifting and achievements are already on the roadmap. Valve's Steam business update from this year's Game Developers Conference has been shared on the Steamworks development YouTube channel, giving developers a way to hear more detailed information about the updates and improvements announced for the platform last month. A quick look at the notes from the show can be found in that original write-up on the topic, but the video above offers devs a more complete look at what Valve's Tom Giardino and other members of the team discussed during the show. Our goals for this talk are pretty simple, says Giardino. We want to be transparent and open about our priorities and plans. We want to provide you with a little bit of data about how the platform is doing and where we are growing. And we also want to get into the needs and bolts about a few tools and features that we have built that we think are going to benefit a lot of developers and a lot of customers. Early on, Giardino outlines that Valve's vision for Steam has three distinct parts: to create value for players and developers, to constantly reinvest to grow the addressable market, and to invent new ways for developers to make their customers happy. He says Valve's big focus right now is on long-term growth and how that will benefit the developers on its platform, and offers a look at how different features the company has introduced to Steam have affected the platform's yearly user counts since 2009. Other members of the Valve and Steam team take the stage throughout the talk to offer more information on things like Steam's upcoming new look, overhauled event system, other social features due out for the platform this year, new Steamworks network APIs, and how Steam is looking to help devs expand into emerging markets worldwide. Sega has just released its financials for the 9 months ended December 31st,
2019.
and both sales and profit are down, according to the fiscal report. Consolidated sales dropped by 4% year-on-year to 253 billion yuan, $3 billion, while profits fell by 95% to 681 million yuan, $5.6 million, over the same period. Digging into the company's entertainment contents division, which houses its video game business, sales rose by 5.2% to 166.2 billion yuan, $1.5 billion, while operating income dropped by 38.6% to 10.6 billion yuan, $96.5 million. That sales upswing was partly down to the performance of packaged software, with physical games sales rising to 18.5 million units from 14.3 million units during the same period last year. Sega claims new titles, like Football Manager 2019 and Judgment, drove that increase, with existing franchises like Total War, Sonic, and Yakuza also chipping in with catalog sales. Digital software also witnessed a slight sales increase, with revenue from digital titles rising to 10.1 billion yuan, $91.9 million, from 9.6 billion yuan, $87.5 million. Although Sega noted it actually incurred a loss in the field due to the cost associated with terminating existing titles. As a result of that loss, Sega has downwardly revised its full-year fiscal forecast, and now expects to see sales hit 337 billion yuan, $3.5 billion, down from 390 billion yuan, $3.5 billion, and profits of -1.5 billion yuan, $13.7 million, down on 12 billion yuan, $106.5 million, when the financial year ends on March 31st.
2019
After Amy Hennig's wild year that saw the unfortunate demise of the Star Wars game, the veteran game director has been keeping an eye on what kinds of experiences game developers will be working on over the next few years. In conversation with Tim Schafer today, at the 2019 DICE Summit, Hennig argued to the audience that it's a future filled with collaborative experiences, delivered unconventionally on platforms that will not resemble the modern-day console space. If that sounds a bit heady for those of you who were not there, here's some context. Hennig told Schafer she's been thinking about two observations from her long career in games. First, there's a massive audience for the kinds of game stories can tell, even among people who do not think of themselves as gamers. Second, it's getting really hard to make AAA games in the fashion of Uncharted. So in her spare time, Hennig's been looking for ways to tell compact interactive stories that can get into people's homes as easily as Bandersnatch did last December. Who's ahead of the curve? If you are wondering what game model could possibly fit this format, Hennig's got a few that have caught her attention. Games like Florence, Until Dawn, and Detroit Become Human all caught her attention because of how accessible they felt to storytelling audiences who might not normally pick up a game controller. Florence, for those who might not remember, was a simple love story that invited players to interact with the title character's life, while Until Dawn and Detroit Become Human offered opportunities for observers in the room to yell about what choice the characters should make. Pre-empting concerns that these players might not be the kind to invest in video games, Hennig pointed out that these people are already game players, given how often they turn on the TV to experience a story, then pop open their iPhones to play a more mindless game at the same time. With games like Until Dawn, I keep coming back to that phenomenon I witnessed, which was people actively, collaboratively playing, which was, people were engaged, they just did not want the controller in their hands. How do you get to those people? When Hennig was exploring the hypothetical world of collaborative video games, she also talked about a need for a Trojan Horse, though the deceptive nature of that terminology may not hold up well. Admittedly, Hennig talked about her impressions of Netflix's Bandersnatch, which she admired more for just being accessible on nearly every TV than she did for its narrative mechanics. For Hennig, Bandersnatch's design did feel somewhat backwards, since the movie was swapping the kinds of interactivity chess implemented in games like Uncharted. It takes the thing players want to be doing and makes it passive, and takes the thing we want to be intentional and crafted for us, and makes that a choice. But to Hennig, Bandersnatch's delivery method was not something to be ignored. The experience of watching that movie felt frictionless to her, with no decisions to be made about pricing, hardware compatibility, or other concerns that video game players need to make before jumping into a story like Horizon Zero Dawn. Hennig could not elaborate what that Trojan Horse would properly do, but she grasped at the straws. She had to try and help the audience see what she was seeing. If it's a streaming service, it's just a virtual console, and you are just talking to gamers. How do we get it coming into people's homes, the same way Netflix and Hulu do?